Hey guys, so I meant to do a video yesterday, but this heat wave is making me very lazy. So let's talk about ignites. And this video is not focused on build guide, but it's more about exploring certain game mechanic. Melee ignites is not really popular, but I wanted to experiment with Infernal Blow, because Infernal Blow can stack 6 times before exploding for bigger damage. So I wanted to see if that bigger explosion damage could scale ignites. Infernal Blow stacks 6 times and each stack gives 66 of base damage. So at 6 stacks it's almost 400% base damage. So I did some testing and then some more testing, and after some more testing it does seem like it works properly. However, the ignite damage is not 4 times the normal Infernal Blow damage, because Infernal Blow itself has around 130% of base damage. So one stack of Infernal Blow explosion is only half that strong. That's why I believe that after 6 charges, the ignite from that explosion will be only 3 times higher than the normal ignite damage from Infernal Blow. So for example, in PUB I have 122,000 ignite damage during the Chieftain's rotational buff, which would then turn into 366,000 ignite damage from the 6 stacks explosion. So there is some potential in melee ignite Infernal Blow build, and this build is not a very good example because I did not really enjoy playing this build, so I did not try to min-max it. This is Chieftain because Chieftain does get burn damage, he does get cover enemies in ash, and also gives a free 50% physical damage converted to fire. Then I'm using 2 Razor of the 7th Sun, which has over 300 physical DPS, but also gives 100% melee physical damage against ignited enemies and 100% burning damage if you have ignited an enemy recently. While the melee physical damage buff is not useful for ignites, but it still does increase your hit damage. I'm also using the Diadem Dawn belt, which I actually had to modify in PUB because it did not properly calculate the faster ignites, and I'm using Malevolence Aura, which has a mod which makes ailments deal damage faster. For the helmet I picked Devouring Diadem because I am reserving all of my mana, and this Devouring Diadem also consumes corpses and heals you. Oh, and also 2 Razor of the 7th Sun basically gives me 2% of my life recovered each time I ignite an enemy. And then I also have Eye of Innocence with Moko's Embrace, but that is mostly because I needed more attack speed. The build feels pretty clunky without more attack speed. I even have a focus mod on gloves for more attack speed. I do have 100% hit chance, around 6000 life at level 86, however the build feels very squishy. If I do not get one-shotted, then I can heal back very fast, but if I take bigger hits, it just feels very squishy. This of course can be fixed if you want to properly make this build and min-max it. Like I said, I did not really enjoy this build. Infernal Blow has a couple more issues. So while mapping I was using Ancestral Call, but for single target I was swapping to burning damage. And when I do that, I cannot use always attack in place, because then I would sometimes just be swinging my swords next to enemy face and not actually hitting. So each time I swap my gems, I also need to unselect always attack in place. And then after the boss, swap the gem back and then select the always attack in place again. And this is very infuriating and annoying. The Infernal Blow default hit is very short ranged. Well, it is melee after all, like a true melee. Another thing is that single target is very boring. Not the damage, but it just looks like a default attack, so it's nothing flashy happening. Only enemy gets like molten veins or something like that. A third thing is that the first hit from the animation is slow, while the second hit is much faster. Which means clear speed feels even worse if you want to just one-tap the enemy, because the first hit is always slower than the second. And I don't know why GG changed animations to be like this. It is just annoying for builds that rely on one hit. This first slow hit also means that it is much easier to accidentally cancel the hit because of the animation cancelling. So I had a lot of issues with the build, but my goal was to test if ignites scale from those 6 stacks. And they do. However, I'm not entirely sure how exactly the calculation is being done, and I have no way of verifying that except going by the feels. And here's the example of me testing that. For this test I specifically refined the Chieftain's rotational buff so it would not mess up the results. And then I would just drop Orb of Storm to proc Elemental Overload, let the boss get hit by Wave of Conviction to reduce its fire resistance a bit more, then ignite once and see how much damage it's doing, then repeat, hit 6 times, wait for the explosion and then see how much ignite damage it's dealing. And as you can see, the difference is pretty clear. So maybe someone else wants to use this idea for their own builds. Maybe a pure lighting build with the Stormfire, or I don't know, something like that. I will leave PUB import code in video description so you can check this build, and I also modified couple items to get the conditional buffs, so make sure you also check the items properly. And that's gonna be it for this short video. The build that I'm currently doing is Unleash Blighting Elementalist with Soul Tether and Impulsor, and it has a potential to be very strong. So the next build is gonna be proper build. For now, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon.